All news, all day. News Radio 1080 KRLD.
We all know the television show Dallas revolved around a powerful and feuding Texas family.
Oh, come on now, Bobby. This is real world. It's not a 1940s movie.
It aired on CBS television from 1978 to 1991. With 357 original episodes, Dallas remains one of the longest-running full-hour primetime dramas on TV.
I did benefit from it, of course.
But did you know the original pilot and first episodes were shot at a ranch in Frisco? Doug Box grew up on that ranch.
A lot of people don't know that there were actually two South Forks. The one in Parker, Texas, is the South Fork Ranch, but this was the original South Fork, and it was where the first 5 or 6 shows of the miniseries that they did in 1978 on the Box Ranch. They came back and asked, can we do the full-blown series here? And he said, no thanks, I've got a ranch to run.
He was Doug's father, Cloyce, and his life reads like a Hollywood novel.
Cloyce Box was a guy who grew up in poverty during the Great Depression, played professional football for the Detroit Lions. Athletics allowed him to get out of his impoverished circumstances and sort of climb the corporate ladder.
And very much like the TV series, the Box family became wealthy in the oil and gas industry. The Box Ranch, like many things in Hollywood, however, looked better from a distance.
When we first moved in that big house, it really wasn't all that nice. I mean, it looked great from the road, it looked great from a distance, and that's why ultimately it became the South Fork, because it had this beautiful appearance.
But growing up on the Box Ranch was pretty cool.
And we had horses and cattle, and it was just a wonderful place to grow up, especially for 4 boys. I was the youngest of 4 sons. We had horses, and we had little rodeos, and we lived that whole sort of giant, big Texas lifestyle.
Out of this fabulous and tempestuous panorama comes a story of magnificent scope and great personal charm.
And it just got cooler with CBS television shooting on the front lawn.
Well, I just thought this whole thing was super cool. I mean, who wouldn't want Hollywood to be on their front doorstep, right?
But fame, like wealth, would be a visitor to the Box Ranch, not a permanent resident.
I called home one day, and she told me that Dad had kicked Lorimar Production Company off the ranch. I was just heartbroken. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what?
The day I started living by the rules was the day the Dallas Cowboys would be back in the Super Bowl.
Doug has written a book entitled Cutter Frisco about his life growing up on the original South Fork Ranch, the one in Frisco, surrounded by TV stars and all the trappings of success.
Cutter Frisco is really about the ranch. It's also about my horse, who was actually named Cutter Frisco, and it's about losing Cutter Frisco in a horse sale. And he was my favorite cutting horse when I was a little cowboy growing up on the Box Ranch.
Turns out Doug's a pretty good writer, too, so much that another book is already in the works.
Well, I'm actually writing a second book that's going to be published soon called Texas Patriarch, and it's the true life story of my dad's rise out of poverty, acquiring everything, and then due to a lack of succession planning, the family, after he dies, loses a lot of our wealth.
Professionally, Doug helps others avoid some of the pitfalls of wealth planning.
That's what I do today. I'm a family business advisor to family-owned firms that are going through transitions and need a succession plan.
Looking back, Doug Box has many great memories of the Dallas TV show days, including a fun night with the cast, including Charlene Tilton.
And I wound up on the dance floor with Charlene Tilton somehow. So we went to a disco, and I got to dance with Charlene Tilton. How's that?
I believe JR would approve. Driving full speed down memory lane in Frisco, we are Texas Road Trippin'.